While the Prime Minister again today trotted out the line that the October 14 referendum on the Voice is a simple proposition that, if successful, would, quote, lift the whole nation up, we are all warned, especially those living in Victoria and South Australia, as I mentioned, that a hot summer this year will see the likelihood of power blackouts. Now, the warning comes from the Australian Energy Market Operator, known as AEMO. The Prime Minister was asked about this at a media stand-up in Tasmania today, and have a listen to his glib, early morning talking point response to what I think was a reasonable question.
Energy market operators are warning of blackouts on the east coast if renewable energy projects aren't delivered quickly. Are you concerned by that?
We're delivering renewable energy, and we also are making sure that we fix the energy grid. The energy grid was built for a time when solar panels powered pocket calculators, not households and businesses and industries. And what we're doing is making sure that it's upgraded.
For goodness sake, that was it. In response to a serious threat to summer power supplies, the Prime Minister utters a couple of dozen glib words and then pivots back to talking about the Voice. I mean, seriously, is he fair dinkum? Someone needs to remind the PM that this is not the most pressing issue facing us, the Voice, as a nation. Legislating the Voice has become an unhealthy obsession, I think, for Anthony Albanese. He now realises that when his Voice vote fails, if it does, his standing is going to be seriously damaged. Now, the Prime Minister owes it to Australians to let the Yes campaign do their thing, and he needs to address with all his attention the cost of living and the energy crisis that's staring us in the face. He has a climate minister in Chris Bowen that's in denial, and he's surrounded by state premiers on the mainland that are so deluded as to not see what's coming down the pipe, and we're warned today that's blackouts. Now listen to these words from AEMO that they used in their 2023 annual report on the market released today. They described our energy system as precariously placed and warned that an urgent investment must be delivered to safeguard the system. Now, these are not ravings of some renewable zealot. It comes from the people running the energy market. And what about this? They urge governments to plug the supply shortage or face a decade in which, wait for it, power supplies can't be guaranteed. How do you run a business with that hanging over your head? This is a nation brimming with coal and gas and the fuel needed for nuclear energy. Just how dumb are we? Now, AEMO also warned even if we don't get blackouts, electricity prices will inevitably go up. Higher prices, not lower power prices. New South Wales faces shortfalls in power from 2025, AEMO says, with the closure of Origin Energy's Eraring coal-fired power station. And at the same time, New South Wales Premier Chris Minns has jumped in and warned farmers they are going to have to wear the invasion of gigantic overhead power cables across their properties. These new transmission towers are needed to link renewable solar and wind projects and get the power into the grid. Now, this will end up with a new version, trust me, of the Lock the Gate protests that we saw over fracking. We have seen farmer protests in every capital city of Australia, tractors in the streets of Melbourne. And those farmers are very angry, as they should be. Now, Peter has talked often to many of those farmers, and I have made the point many times that this confrontation, sadly, is inevitable. Just think about it like this. It's one thing to strike a deal with a transmission construction company, for example, to cross your property with transmission towers, or agree even to host a number of wind turbines for which you're then compensated. It's your property. You should be able to free to do whatever you want. But where are we headed here? In Victoria, there's an outfit tied to AEMO called the Victorian Transmission Network. Now, they need to connect a wind farm at a place called Bulgana between Stawell and Ballarat, and then southeast to Sydenham on the outskirts of Melbourne. A spokesman for that group I heard on radio last week say their map has been finalised, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The route, hundreds of kilometres long, is going to carve a 2-kilometre wide track through regional Victoria, and if needed, farming land will be compulsorily acquired. I mean, meanwhile, get set for a hot summer night in the dark. This is going to get a lot worse, and it deserves the Prime Minister's full attention, not a simple brush off.